does eating too much sugar cause diabetes? And this is actually a very common question that a lot of people ask. So eating too much sugar does not cause diabetes. However, it causes something called inflammation. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to All Things Diabetes with Dr. Nana. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm excited to bring to you another episode of valuable diabetes information. So it was really great reading all the lovely comments from last week's episode where we talked about how having a high blood sugar does not necessarily mean that you have a full-blown diabetes. So if you did miss that, and I did share other reasons why some people might have a high blood sugar that is high and also abnormal. So if you did miss that, it's on my page. You can always go back and listen to that. So in today's episode, I am going to address some questions that I received and also talk about some diabetes misconceptions. So stay tuned and let's have some fun. So, one of the questions I received was, what are some of the warning signs of high blood sugar? So, oftentimes, people get surprised whenever they receive news that they have prediabetes or diabetes. But in reality, some of the symptoms are actually in our face. And if we pay attention to our body, we will be able to recognize them and also prevent them from even becoming more serious. So one of the warning signs that usually happens when you have a high blood sugar is unimaginable thirst. So you will start having the urge to drink a lot of water because your mouth feels really dry. I remember one of my clients shared their pre-diagnosis symptoms with me, and she was telling me that no matter how much water she drank, she was always feeling that she needed more. So when this usually happens, a lot of people think that, the best thing to do is to drink more soda, but you fail to realize that soda actually contains, it contains sugar, and water is actually the best option in this case because it has 0 calories. It will keep you hydrated. It will help your temperature regulations as well, and also it will flush out all those toxins and waste in our body as well. So when this happens, you usually want to drink a lot of water to help with that. So that leads me to my second warning sign, which is pretty much frequent trips to the bathroom. So obviously, when you drink a lot of water, you have the urge to use the bathroom often. And when there's high blood sugar, your kidneys actually feel very overwhelmed. So they try to draw water from the body to dilute the sugar that is going on. So your bladder ends up filling up, and then it causes you to use the bathroom as well. Some people also have blurry vision. So your vision can be affected absolutely whenever you have a high blood sugar. So your body tries to pull fluids from all the tissues to help dilute that sugar that is going on. So some of the fluids also actually comes from the eye lenses, the lenses of your eye. So you end up not also seeing clearly. Some people also experience less energy. So whenever we eat, the food actually is converted to the glucose, and glucose is supposed to be transported into the cells of our body to give us energy. So when this is not going on, or when you have a high blood sugar, you end up having the cells are not able to receive that glucose for energy. So you end up having like being fatigued or being tired all the time. So for the people that have chronic fatigue problems or chronic, they are always tired all the time. I know that sometimes, obviously, if you drink coffee or if you drink like a cappuccino or something, that will help, or any energy drink that will help. But you just have to make sure that if you do have that problem, you get your blood sugar checked as well. Some people also experience an intense craving for sweet. So these are some of the warning signs that you have to look for whenever you have a blood sugar. Some people also have infections, and for the woman, you end up having bladder and vaginal infections as well. Some experience skin problems. They do have dark, bumpy patches on their skin, and all these also cause insulin resistance as well. So, some of these are some of the warning signs that you have whenever you have a high blood sugar. You also have slow healing to cut or wound. Whenever you get injured, it takes a while for you to, for it to heal. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, or another question that I got was, does eating too much sugar cause diabetes? And this is actually a very common question that a lot of people ask. So, eating too much sugar does not cause diabetes. However, it causes something called inflammation. And I talked about it last week a bit. The more sugar we eat, it damages the lining of our gut. So, once that gut lining get compromised, it causes or it leads to an immune response, and that also causes insulin resistance as well. So this actually predisposes us to weight gain. That's why a lot of people also gain weight from eating too much sugar. Another question I got was, can petite people get diabetes? Absolutely. So, if you can recall, I mentioned last week that we are all at risk of getting diabetes. So, I do actually have a friend who is actually really petite who has diabetes. So, don't discount that. Don't think that only people that are overweight actually have diabetes. Anyone can have this illness as well. Some people also were asking if their parents had diabetes, are they more prone to having it, or should they be worried? So, unfortunately, whenever you do have a family member that has diabetes, you are at a greater risk of getting it as well. However, you have to remember that it is not all about genetics. The lifestyle interventions actually have a greater impact on what will happen to you. So if you know that you do have a family member that is who has diabetes, you have to start, changing your lifestyle. You have to start eating right. You have to incorporate a lot of things in your life that will not predispose you to having diabetes. And you have to also realize that you have the power to completely control the things that you can control, and that's pretty much what you put on your plate as well. And the last question I got was, are all diabetes the same? So the answer is no. We do have a lot different types of diabetes. We have the pre-diabetes, we have type 1, we have type 2, and then we have gestational diabetes as well. There are the diabetes as well, and I think it's 1.5 and another one. Those are not common, so I'm not going to talk more about that. So pre-diabetes is basically when you do have a high blood sugar, but it's not high enough for it to be categorized as type 2 or type 1. It's not high enough for it to be diabetes yet. However, if you have pre-diabetes, that is not like a get out of jail card for you. You still have to make sure that you implement lifestyle changes that can help you with that. So prediabetes happens from something called insulin resistance, and I know that I talked a little bit about it last week. So it's basically when your cells are resisting the insulin that is being produced. So your cells are not allowing insulin to transport the glucose from your blood into your cells. Hi George, how are you? So that's what prediabetes is. So usually when that happens, your insulin keeps being produced over and over and over again because the body actually sees that there's glucose in the body. So that's the high glucose actually is what causes weight gain in a lot of people. So a lot of people that have prediabetes gain weight. It's not because they are eating a lot. I mean, obviously some can be because of that, but another reason is because they have an increase in insulin, and that actually, keeps going on, and that also makes them gain weight. Type 1 diabetes is actually an autoimmune disease, and basically your body is attacking the cells that are producing the insulin. So you end up having people that have to be on insulin for a very long time. So for type 1 diabetes, they typically have to, inject themselves with insulin all the time. So in type 2, it's similar to pre-diabetes. It's just pre-diabetes that has not been treated, that has developed into like a full-blown diabetes. And the last one that I'm going to talk about is gestational diabetes, and that's just diabetes that occurs during pregnancy, and it's usually during the second trimester. So basically, when a woman is pregnant, they can develop diabetes. Their blood sugar can be high as well. And typically, that actually resolves when the baby is born. But some people are not able to do that because the lifestyle changes are not being implemented. So there's a chance that you can actually develop, the mom and the baby can actually develop type 2 diabetes from having gestational diabetes as well. So all in all, I just wanted to wrap this episode up by saying that, focus on the things that you can control. You really cannot control your genetics, but you can control what is on your plate. You can control your mindset. You can control your stress level, your sleep, and your movement. So these are the things that can actually reduce your risk of developing diabetes as well. So that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed it and it was valuable to you. As always, you can always send me questions. Either you can DM me or you put it in the comment down below. And you can also join my private Facebook group called Ditch Diabetes, and that's a place where I further educate and provide support for people that are living with diabetes. If you're also on Instagram, I'm on there, and my handle is at dr.nana as well. So you can always definitely contact me with any questions, and I'll do my best to reply and answer your questions as much as possible. So I hope you have a really good Friday. Stay tuned for the next episode next week, and see you next time. Bye.